Evening, folks. Red County, Blue Nation, little bitty county of Custer, the great state of Colorado, the best nation in the whole galaxy, the United States of Americans. Stephen Rorick, James McMahon. Jimmy, how are you this evening, buddy?
We're doing good. A little sore. Been doing a little construction and feeding the cows and doing some stuff. And how you making her?
Well, I'm a lot better today because the wind ain't blowing as hard, but boy,
brutal.
Yesterday was miserable. And I mean, that ain't nothing like it used to be.
It could get pretty wicked.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what it was blowing, 60 maybe or so. I mean, whenever it gets up to like 120, 130, then you're getting a wind.
So you know that flat irrigation stuff that I got from you, the green stuff?
Yeah, the lay flat.
The lay flat, I had about 80 foot of it laid out. The wind picked it up and threw it over the house.
Oh, yeah.
So, and then whatever wind came through, I was right next to the cattle trailer. I was feeding the cows. I had some hay in the cattle trailer. God, I had to just buckle down. I don't know what it was, but it was like a little mini
Microburst?
Yeah, I was like, man, alive.
No, that's the kind of stuff you want to keep your eyes like squint real close because, man, you can get
And I did.
They talk about them big windstorms, man. They'll drive a piece of straw 6 inches into a telephone pole. I mean, if you get hit with one of them, it's going to puncture your brain.
You're done.
Yeah.
So, yeah, me and that trailer become one.
Luckily, it wasn't blowing near that hard. But, yeah, it's still pretty miserable.
Yeah, and then there was a piece of 3/4 plywood yesterday. I had them all stacked out, shooting the floor down, and just it caught one of them. Whoa! Bye. See ya.
I remember when we were in high school with the FFA, we were roofing the concession stand at the football field, and that's where the new school is now. That's where the old track and the football field and all that stuff was, and that was up on top of the bluff. And it was a 2-story building, little, not very big, probably
and it's
like
small
10
too.
by 12. Yeah, it was small. We were up there messing with some plywood. And I can't remember who was up there with me, but we were up on there. And I mean, luckily we let go of it.
Yeah.
And it just blew that sheet of plywood like, 200 foot out into the football field.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good time to let go. So.
Yeah, it was pretty windy. It was, yeah. Yeah, I that's one thing that keeps the flatlanders out of here, I think, is the wind. You can't deal with the wind where you don't want to be here because when it's calm and it's nice, it's calm and it's nice. But
Well, you know what the joke is, right? Why the wind blows in Colorado? Because Oklahoma and Kansas and Texas suck. No, I mean, I'm not trying to be mean.
No, it's just a funny.
Yeah, I guess a friend of mine down there around Leedy, they got 30,000 acres, man. They've had to evacuate that little town twice. They about got it put out, and then it came back again, and the wind just keeps picking it up and driving it again. I mean, it already burned down a bunch of their houses. It hadn't quite burned the town down, but...
No, that's Oklahoma?
Yeah, Leedy, Oklahoma.
And then it sounded like a big chunk of Texas is ablaze, too.
Yeah, I mean, with that kind of wind, man, I mean, that's what happened in L.A., right? I mean, it just...
Santa Ana.
When that wind's blowing that hard, I mean, it's like taking a blowtorch, or, it's like blowing oxygen on a fire, right? I mean, it just intensifies it by quite a bit.
Like a turbo.
Yep.
Absolutely. It's just unbelievably magnified. Yeah. So it's nice and calm today, somewhat. I mean, a little breezy, but man, I don't think it got above 35.
No, it's definitely cooler today. I mean,
last
few days have been pretty nice temperature-wise,
yeah.
50s.
So I think we're back into the good weather here. I'm hoping.
Yeah, it's getting springtime. A little worried about, or I'm not worried about it, but it's shaping up to be a dry year.
Yeah. So tomorrow, I think, is spring, and we've got balanced 12 hours light and 12 hours what's dark. Is it somewhere in there?
It's the 21st, ain't it? Or
I don't know. I thought it was tomorrow or the next day. It's pretty close, somewhere in there. It's not too far after that daylight saving thing takes place. But yeah, maybe it's a little further down. I know it's June.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Are we getting close to that spring equinox thing or whatever they call it? But it's supposed to be a balanced day. It's 12 and 12, and then we start getting a little longer in the daylight. And that's kind of why we start our indoor plants now, is because the days do get longer. And you can get into that
20th,
rhythm.
so yeah, you're right, it is tomorrow.
Oh, is it tomorrow?
Yeah.
I knew it was coming up. I thought it was either today or next week or something, but yeah, good.
I'm still in the time warp. I'm thinking it's only mid-March and it's almost into March.
It's going by fast.
I know it, man. I'll be the big 5-0 on the 28th. So
Big 5-0.
everybody that's listening, it's going to be a party in Westcliffe.
Where's that going to is that happening here?
I don't know. I mean, Mikey's going to come out. We're going to try to ride some dirt bikes, and then a lot of people are banned from the Dome. So I guess we're going to start at Bootleggers, and then, I mean, here, then Bootleggers, then the Dome, then back here. So
Kind of.
join in wherever you can.
Yeah. Jump in the jump rope.
We'll be there.
Right on, Steven.
Yeah, I mean, can't believe it's going to be the big 50s worth, but it is what it is.
Goes by fast. That's all I know. The older, and I thought even in my 20s it was going by pretty quick, and then 30s even faster, and 40s pretty quick. 50 blew by.
I remember when I turned 35, and I'm like, oh man, this stuff doesn't seem the same as it was the last 10 years. Now I'm like, oh man, it really ain't the same.
Yeah, exactly.
So, well, folks, what we're going to do tonight, we'll kind of lay out the agenda here. What we're going to do tonight is go over what these forever chemicals are. And I mean, this is the can of worms of all can of worms. Part of the articles I read said that the family of PFAS is 9,000 chemicals. Some of the stuff I read said 12,000 chemicals. That is a lot of different strands of chains of molecules of a family of stuff, which is carbon, fluorocarbons, right? Carbon, fluoride, fluorine.
So fluorine is it's carbon and fluorine, and it's a very unnatural thing. It doesn't occur in nature naturally. It's man-made. So that's the significance. And how many did I came up with? Like there's 2,000 that they knew of, but you're saying there's like 9, maybe?
12. Part of them articles say 12,000.
So 12,000, and it's got a carbon backbone, and then it's got the other molecules attached to it, the fluorine.
It's a fluorine, a carbon, fluorocarbons is what they're called.
Yes.
And so, I mean, these things are, I mean, in one aspect, if you just look at what science is, it really is a fascinating.
Absolutely.
I mean, these things are as durable as they can be, and that's why they are used so widely. So they were started back in the 40s. And so, I mean, clothing, upholstery, fabric, cooking ware, fast food wrappers, anything that repels water, grease, or oil has some kind of PFAS on it. So like Teflon, and so that's one of the things. So being from the kind of the scientific world that I'm in, when we're looking for stuff that doesn't react, we use Teflon, right? PTFE is one of the best. So like all the gaskets that I try to buy, the tri-clamp gaskets, I always get the PTFE because they won't react with a chemical. But yet little did I know that they're made with these forever chemicals. And so some of the stuff that I read said at least 1,000 years, and some of them maybe never will they ever break down. That bond is so strong with them electrons and the way that they bond together, it takes a huge amount of electricity to break them apart. And so they're working on some stuff to remediate these forever chemicals, but it's super slow and extremely costly. I mean, one of the things I was looking at, so they use an anode and a diode, and they run the water across. This is a purified water. So from my knowledge, you can't do anything with where we're going with all this whole conversation is with the sludge, right? These biosolids, which is a huge problem, folks. We all know that everybody has to use the bathroom. It's just part of human nature. We've been doing it since man has ever been alive. They're going to keep doing it every day of every day of every day. But the problem is that everybody puts all their stuff down the toilet. And not to mention, just inadvertently, like if you have a good waterproof piece of clothing and you wash that piece of clothing, you're putting the PFAS into that wastewater supply. Just and same with like
Steve, now are they water soluble?
no, they repel water.
Right. But they will go into the water, right? It's
Oh,
not
yeah.
like oil and vinegar is what I was.
No,
or
no, no,
oil
no.
and water. You know what I'm saying?
No, because if it was like that, you could filter it out.
That's what I was going to say. There you go. I want
Yes.
to make that.
Yeah, so they are within. So yeah, I guess you can call them soluble, but I mean they're not like
They're going to break down in the water.
they're not going to break.
They're actually built to withstand the water.
Stand, and that's what they're. The only way that they're breaking these down in the drinking water, from what I've read, is with you got the diode and the anode, and you pass an extreme amount of electricity, and that fluorocarbon has to actually touch the anode, and that electricity will shear the bond and break that off. And then once you break it off, I mean, so this is the thing, folks, is what's one of the things that I want to get into. I mean, a lot of just more of the agenda. Next week we're going to bring Dave Snyder on. We're going to talk about, he's the director at Round Mountain Water and Sanitation. We're going to talk, we got a lot of questions geared for him, but I thought this would be a really good time to get familiar with some of the real basics of what we're talking about, so next week we don't have to cover this stuff. This is complicated enough that we can't just do it in one session, and I don't want to, Dave, we got a lot of intense questions that from the community and ourselves and everybody for Dave about the situation, and so I thought it would be advantageous to go ahead and answer some of these questions. But that bond, carbon and fluorine, right? Two elements that on their own,
Pretty harmless.
pretty much. I mean, they go through, I mean, we're carbon-based life form. We're mostly carbon to start with. But that bond is so strong that you can't hardly break it. And so it takes that extreme amount of electricity to break it. So once you break the bond, then bam, you're back to a not inert material, but very not hardly harmful material, right? So one of the things that I find so fascinating, and not in a good way, is the concentration levels of what this stuff is, right? So we're talking, from what I've seen, the new, and I mean, it really is it's like the Romans with the lead cups, but like a bazillion times worse, right? I mean, we thought we were doing the right thing. We make this really good bond that's supposedly supposed to help mankind, but yet by the time we actually figured it out as a society, there's a lot of people that know what it is, and they won't tell you what it is because they're making too much money, even though it's just killing people left and right. So this stuff is so toxic, folks, so toxic that the department, Texas, right? Texas is one of the main ones that I've seen that are actually working with it. The EPA is working on a study that, from my knowledge, the question and answer session or whatever, I can't think of the exact word I'm trying to think of there, but their whole exploratory time frame is up now. It was up in the middle of March, so they've kind of talked.
So they had to have a big debate. They had to get as much information, pro and con, on all of it, to try to get all the information out, to try to have a good debate, because a good debate is healthy.
Oh yeah, I mean,
And being able to clash and have opposition from either side, it really brings the stuff out.
well, yeah, because I mean, at the end of the day, what's opposition from one side is nothing but a bunch of hurt feelings, right? And then what really stands is the numbers, and that's what we're getting ready to talk about is the numbers of this stuff. So, from what I've read, and all this stuff, all these articles and all that stuff, we're going to post that on the website so you can look at it on your own. But they're talking about 4 parts per trillion. And so we think, well, that doesn't seem all that bad. I mean, that's what Elon Musk is uncovering. They're wasted $1 trillion here, and we're only $36 trillion in debt. And I mean, it doesn't seem that bad, right?
Just trillion.
It's only $1 trillion, right?
So when we have stuff done, when we're doing lab tests, right? Typically, if we're doing parts,
Most of the stuff is parts per million.
okay. So just for people that haven't had things tested, it's typically parts per million. Is the standard? Is that where we're at?
Pretty much everything I know that I've ever messed with, part of the stuff that I've messed with, they do test for heavy metals in parts per billion. But parts per trillion is unfathomable.
So when you get into toxicity and the gravity of different molecules that get a little bit more complex, you can step into that billion, depending on the standard of the health and what it's for.
Yeah, and what's really going on is, like you say, it's the degree of toxicity. How rank is this stuff? And so I put together a few things here for you folks, right? So
Yeah, Jeremy hit me up with one they were doing quadrillion with these same molecules in the water somewhere. They were doing it in the quadrillion. I was like, oh my Lord, boy, oh boy. So I also wanted to talk a little bit about, here we're in this little bitty pristine agricultural place where cattle and hay are very, very important. Steve and I do some growing, and there's some people up here that grow stuff. But the big thing is this hay and cattle, and also horses. I mean, there's pretty good horses up here too. But at the end of the day, this stuff has been found to be deadly.
So I did 3 different examples of what 1 part per trillion really is, to try to get your head wrapped around the magnitude of what 4 little bitty parts per trillion amounts to. And I hope you're all sitting down, because this stuff it's almost unfathomable and uncomprehendable. Okay, so
But listen to it and think about it for a minute too, and then reflect on it in the quietness when nothing else is around you, just to try to absorb the magnitude, because it's huge.
it is. And so 1 drop of water, so if you have 1 trillion drops of water, right, that's the same as 13,194,900 gallons. That's enough to fill 50 Olympic-sized swimming pools. So we're talking about 4 drops spread out through 50 swimming pools, not the little bitty pools, but the big boys. You're talking about 4 drops of water spread throughout 50 swimming pools. I mean, like when you jump out and your trunks are wet and whatever, there just went like thousands and thousands and thousands and tens of thousands of drops or whatever, just so 4 drops in 50 swimming pools. Another one would be, so grains of sand. If you had 1 trillion grains of sand, would be the same as 50 semi-loads. So you're talking about 4 grains of sand in 50 semi-loads of sand. That's the concentration and the toxicity level of this stuff we're talking about.
Now, they make Tonka semi ones, right?
Yeah, we're talking about 20 tonners. Some of that stuff would be 25 ton, but I figured 20-ton load, 50 loads.
20-ton load.
It's 1,000 ton of sand.
Yeah.
You're talking about 4 grains of sand in 1,000 ton, which is basically 50 semi loads.
So the talks. I mean, yeah.
It is so wicked that that's why we're trying to do our best to try to let everybody wrap their head around how to quantify what this all is, because if you read the newspaper, this week's Sentinel, I mean, it makes it sound like it's like no big deal, right? And nothing against the Sentinel, but nobody understands this stuff, folks, and that's why we're doing the research. That's why we kind of know what we're talking about here. This stuff is, like I said, you just think that the Romans, when they killed themselves with all that lead cups, this stuff in 1,000 years don't break down. You're talking about 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 generations. Your kids for 50 generations will be dealing with this stuff.
That's the seriousness, and it's a harsh when you get into this awareness. And I've been aware of it, and I try not to focus on it.
No, because I mean that's the thing is it's everywhere. I mean,
but now the thing is you come all the way up the highest point of the headwaters of the United States, and you're thinking, okay, we've really increased our odds of not getting contaminated. I'm not downtown Pueblo or Denver or Aurora or whatever. I'm upstream. Man, I hope I'm out of that. And for this to come to knocking on my door, I take it very personal.
Well, and so here's the thing that we don't really understand either, which is, I mean, it's hard for me to comprehend, but I understand that wickedness runs rampant on this planet at this point. Like, how did we not figure this out sooner? We did figure it out, but big money. It's all about money, folks. This has nothing to do with people that are greed. Greed is driving this. So back to, I have one more explanation here to explain.
Yeah, try to grasp the toxicity of it.
So 1 trillion seconds. This is the one that's...
Here's a good one.
A trillion seconds. 31,709 years. So you're talking about 4 seconds out of 31,709.792 years.
Shazam.
I mean, it's...
So that should help you kind of grasp it. I mean, I can't grasp it. I hear it, and it's so... I still can't get a grip on it.
It is, I mean... And
all I know is it's like, wow, that's deadly.
And then just think how in the hell we're 36 trillion in debt.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I remember my American history teacher in East Central High School in San Antonio, Texas. Mick Fisher, he was a Vietnam vet. Really cool guy, though. Very personable. He got called down to the office first day of school. He's a character, but a good teacher. He's American, patriot. But yeah, he talked about some of this stuff and just how important the future of our country was, and like you said, the greed.
Well, and that's what it is, because they've known about this stuff for quite a while. And so some of that research that I was looking at, like, you want to talk about one of the main things that they use this for would be a fast food wrapper, right? So when you go to the burger joint or the taco joint, right, and you get, there's grease running out of it. Like if it was on a regular piece of paper and you picked it up, right, it would just fall out. Well, it'd just fall out, right?
Well, it would absorb it and cause it to be weak and come apart.
Literally tear. It would dissolve.
But the forever chemical deflects it, repels it.
Yeah.
And that's where they were coming up with this. I guess somebody dropped it on their shoe when they were making this concoction. Somebody dropped it on their shoe, and then they found out that it would repel stuff, and that was where they're going. We got a little something here now.
Well, and it is. I mean, that's when you think about science, you're thinking, well, man, I mean, this bond is so hard to break, and what it can actually do is magnificent. It's the side effect that we didn't understand.
Well, here again, money.
But when they first came out, right? I mean, when they first invented it, good point in being is the lead cups, right? When they were making the lead cups, that was the finest thing that you could drink out of, right? And everybody's like we're really high society here.
It wasn't a silver spoon.
So little did they know.
It's a lead cup.
Yeah, little did they know that they're poisoning themselves beyond.
Yeah.
And
So here again, we're in the days of Rome. I compare us to the days of Rome. Absolutely. Our kingdom is gone to that point where if we don't get our poop in a group, we could disassemble ourselves. If we don't raise the standard of maintaining this republic, and that's our job here, is it's a revolution. So that's the finest example I think you could give is we didn't know these.
Well, then that's the thing.
We didn't know.
We didn't know, but then, where the sinister comes out is after a certain amount of time when somebody actually figured out what it was, that we just didn't say, holy smokes, we better quit doing that. No, what did they do? They just keep pouring it to us, and then you got these euthanogenics, these euthogenic cults that want everybody dead. They're like, oh, shoot, just keep feeding it to them. And that's the part that still bewilders me, is like, how do you think... One of the articles I read said 99% of the people have it in them, all right? I mean, there's no way that you don't already have it
absolutely.
in you. It is everywhere.
It's everywhere.
And so...
But let's minimize it.
Right, I mean...
There's no need in bathing in it.
Right. And so that's what we're trying to do. We're not trying to... This is all purely science-driven here, folks. I mean, we want you to understand what this stuff is, and then next week we'll talk about how that's going to go with the people at the sewer treatment plant. They have been spreading this around America for at least 40 to 50 years. And one of the articles I was reading, Synagro out of Oklahoma, who do you recommend that was owned by? Goldman Sachs.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
And I mean, it was sold for like $480 billion to start, and then who owns it now? Goldman Sachs, right? So it's these huge money boys that are in control of this stuff, and I mean, they're the ones that the euthogenic cults and the money-driven things. And the ornery part about it is that we have a huge problem here, folks. I mean, this is not just like, it's not just happening here. It's happening everywhere. And I mean, we have dirtied our own nest to the point where I'm surprised. No wonder that we have some of the highest cancer rates in the whole world and all of this stuff.
Yeah, I watched this one. These scientists were talking about where these chemicals are all at and the manufacturing processes. And one of the biggest things that slapped me in the face was when they're pulping paper for toilet paper. So toilet paper, not all of it, I guess, but a significant amount of it has these forever chemicals on it. So I'm just saying, it's
so yeah,
kind of
so like
one of them deals.
How much toilet paper goes into the toilet?
Here again, that's why when I heard that I thought that they would properly dispose of that chemical. I didn't even think it was up for discussion to pour it out, because we've already conducted the experiment. There's 20 to 70 million acres contaminated with this sludge.
The problem is that we still have these ulterior motives in between. So like in Oklahoma, they are trying to pass legislation that would, the people that are applying the waste wouldn't be liable. I mean, that's like the vaccine manufacturers, right? I mean, so that's the biggest red flag, folks, that you can get to, is when there's legislation saying, no, you can't sue this guy. I mean, that lets you know right there that there's a serious problem, right? I mean, why would they do that for any other reason except for people are already trying to sue them, right? And so, I mean, and this is an epic problem. There is no good solution at this point. I mean, science is going to have to really step up its game to get there. From what little bit of limited knowledge I had in the last 4 or 5 days to try to get all this stuff together, the biosolid, I don't think that you can remediate it out of the biosolid at all. You can incinerate it, but you'd have to incinerate it just right, or you make the short chain, PFAS. You break the long chain down into the short chain, which is not as bad, but you're not really doing it. So you have to do it really, really good, and everything has to be just right. If you hustle and hurry it, it's not going to work. So I mean, we're talking about, I forget what they said, 44,000 metric tons they already spread in 2023 or something.
I'm sick of thinking about it.
I mean, and that's the thing. This we have dirtied our own nest so bad. We've ruined this planet for our kids for 50 generations or whatever, till somebody figures it out how to do this stuff. Because all the stuff I'm reading about says that you can clean water, which water is not the biosolids at all, but the water itself. So that's where the 4 parts per million has come from, is in drinking water, and 10 parts per million of some lower grade stuff. But still 10 parts per million. I mean, you're talking about 10 seconds in 39,000 years. I mean, humans ain't hardly even been around that long. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right? There was 10 seconds in 39,000 years. So, like, I mean, just try to... And we're not trying to fearmonger here. I mean, this is nothing about any of that. It's just about reality. This is where we're at, folks. And I can't believe it's taken us all this time to figure this stuff out. I read one of them articles talking about how in August of 2025, they will finally be done. They have until August of 2025 to quit using it on the fast food wrappers. Like, when they figured that out, how they didn't just immediately cut that off instantly. It's all about money. And that's, regardless of what this, how you think about this or how you feel about it, it's all about money. Money is the only thing that's driving this whole affair that we're caught up in.
Well, and it also comes down to, and I'm going to go to the elected officials and people that we entrust. So we have a public trust. We have public confidence. EPA. What's EPA stand for?
Environmental Protection Agency.
So we have confidence that those people are doing the right thing, and we just go, if that was me, I wouldn't want to hurt anybody. If I knew something was contaminating, I wouldn't want to just save the water district.
Oh, because we're all over here trying to make an honest living, and we have to deal with all this stuff.
Well, you got a conscience where you have a golden rule built in at the factory where you do unto others as you'd have them doing. You don't want to treat somebody
all of that. Plus, I mean,
all that plus.
You just have people out here that's trying to make a living, but the EPA puts the noose around their neck and really squishes them down. Says you got to do this, you got to do that, but all the while they're letting them do this in the background.
I mean,
ouch, boy. I mean, that's it's beyond anything of this. It's beyond anything that we've ever talked about or even thought about. The deviousness, the wickedness. It's 39,000 years.
Hello.
Okay.
Okey-dokey. So it's a harsh reality, and I don't know. There, like you said, Stephen, there's really not a good answer. All I'm going to say is I live here. I moved here intentionally. I've had stuff that I've known about a long time, and I talk to people about some stuff. I'm just a fortunate individual that got introduced to the sinister mentality of this world through my uncles and some other friends and people. Just very fortunate. I've got a lot of awareness of how sinister the end times are. So saying that is, public trust in the government is at an all-time low. I mean, look at what's going on with the feds at the federal level. Look at the abuse and all that happy crap.
Trillion here, trillion there.
Here, trillion there, trillion everywhere, trillion. Thank God for Elon Musk going up and getting them 2 kids out, or however many, a couple astronauts stuck up there for, 9 months or something?
I hadn't heard, did they get them out of there? Or?
Yeah.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, they landed in the ocean and there's dolphins and stuff.
Oh, boy.
It was pretty cool, man.
Talk about being happy.
Man.
I'd kiss the ground even if I got to go another 400 foot deep, huh?
So anyways, at the end of the day, we the people here again, that's what this podcast is about, is you have to get engaged in your surroundings and do not trust the government. Don't trust any of them. I mean, our bookkeeping thing, here again, it's a pattern of behavior and it's the time we're in.
So let's dig into this a little bit, right? So, I mean, this is not set in stone, folks, because, I mean, we're doing our best to report. And, I mean, if we do make a mistake here and somebody has some more credible information that would trump that, we'd be happy to redact our statements and publish this information. But the best of our ability is that the commissioners circumvented the Planning and Zoning Commission. And once the Planning and Zoning found out, then now the commissioners are super mad because they let the cat out of the bag.
Man, that speaks volumes.
I'm
not going to speak on either of the three, either Bill Kanda.
No, you're all grouped together on that one. I mean,
I'm just going to tell the three of you. You know the conversations I've had with you gentlemen the last 4 days, and you know your responses, man to man. You know our conversation, and you know the information that I shared with you, and it sounds like tomorrow morning at a board meeting. This issue never made it on the agenda.
So I did hear from one of our sources. She wanted me to bring this to the attention of everyone, that on the 27th, they're having a special meeting that the Planning and Zoning is actually supposed to bring a finding to the commissioners where they can vote on. And I would assume, knowing some of the people that are on that Planning and Zoning, especially after hopefully they listen to this podcast and understand what 39,000 years looks like here.
They better get a grip, is all I know.
I mean, here's the thing, is it's got to go somewhere, and it's not going to go anywhere. This solution is not... There is no solution at this point.
It's hot potato.
It is. It's just trying to remediate the risk.
So what I'm saying is, the higher you get in the water, where the water flows, the headwater, it's called the headwater, where the water starts. You don't throw your trash up there. I'm just saying, this is just cowboy thinking. I'm real simple. You don't start and pollute all of it. This is a little sanctuary, man. I'd like to keep it. And I'm already here. I moved here intentionally. I didn't come up here to get contaminated with somebody else's irresponsibility. Because, Stephen, that's the other thing. I was building up here 2001. Going to the Silver Cliff Town Board and Jerry Pearl and Jerry Livengood were Round Mountain guys at that point. They took care of that.
Right.
And they came in and said, look, we have an issue. We're going to have a problem. We need to address it sooner than later. And it just got kicked down the road. And I seen a calamity coming. And I knew it was coming. It's like, ooh, man, I hope they do something. Well, and so now it's on us.
Now, that's why I don't really agree with what the Sentinel is, either article, the one that George wrote or the one that Fred wrote. And here's why, it's nothing personal, but these guys don't understand what these forever chemicals are. Nobody really does, right? I mean, it's so hidden. what most municipalities are doing, from my understanding, is they put it in the landfills. And I mean, I know that that's like not a solution either, but what the hell else are you? It's better in the landfill than it is on top of the ground.
Next to the creek?
Next to the creek.
Next to where the water for the town wells are?
So now when Round Mountain just thinks they're nuts in a sling with this deal, because they say, well, we can't afford to put it nowhere else but out on this guy's property, because we've already hired Denali Water Solutions for $300,000 to try to get it. So it's like, there's a few things that flash through my mind. Number one, why didn't you just take it to the dump? That's what everybody else does.
Okay, I'm going to expound a little bit. So Round Mountain Water is the water district up here for these two towns. Silver Cliff's got 900 folk, and that's further east. Westcliffe is where we're at here, but there's a dividing line, and I believe there's 700 in Westcliffe. So where I'm going with this is that water is right there, the town's water.
Well, it is,
and the well.
So yeah, back to that same thing. So you just think that you're having a hard time dealing with $1 million worth of sludge, or $2 million. And don't get me wrong, putting it on our landfill is, I mean, that's like the second worst thing. It's not the worst thing, it's the second worst thing. So what would be better? Let's put it in somebody else's landfill off the hill. So we're at the top of, we're at the top of the ladder here. Let's haul it down the hill.
We'll keep the contamination, minimize it. If it's already concentrated, the further you get down the hill, the higher the concentration. This way it is.
Let's face it, folks. I mean, how many fast food wrappers are in the landfill right now?
Yeah, I mean, the cow's out the barn already.
Yeah,
the horse is out the barn, however you want to say it.
So, I mean, it's not like the landfill is all pristine by any means. I mean, it's just already loaded with these forever chemicals, but it's not quite as bad as dumping it out on the open surface. But here's my gripe, right? And this is, I mean, it's just me.
Because I got a little different take on what happened there in the Sentinel with George and Fred. Not that I don't battle those guys. I mean, we have good battles. We damn sure have some good conversations. But at the end of the day, to me, it was an interview, and to me, it brought out. I look at that in a little different light, but.
So here. Let me make
one of my
points. Let me make one of my points, and then you can make one of your points. So my point would be from the Round Mountain Water Progress Projects and Accomplishments by Fred Hernandez. Okay, project number one is the water meters. Okay, so we've spent all of this money upgrading to these digital smart meters so that we can tell if somebody's got a leak. Oh, well, a snowbird.
Here we go. George, I didn't make it by to get the other puppet. I appreciate the donation, but I was busy. Sorry.
I'm a snowbird, and I'm not around in Westcliffe, so when my water bursts and I don't come up there for 6 months, then you can watch out for me, and you can shut my water off and let me know. So how much money did you spend trying to put all these smart meters together instead of worrying about the real problem, which is the sludge? I mean, kudos to Dave for working so hard to get this electrochemical process, right? I mean, that's big, and it's been going on a long time. What the state wants us to do is spend a bazillion bucks that we don't have, and there's a lot of communities that don't have it, to make all these super high dollar waste treatment plants. But yet you can use, and this one outfit's been doing it for 40 years, and so the state finally gives them the go-ahead to use this electrolysis to do what they need to do to be in compliance, and they're going to get grants for that, but we can't do nothing with the sludge because we already blew all our money on smart meters.
So that was
that's one of my biggest gripes right there, is you guys in control, commissioners, back to the $250,000 sidewalk at the courthouse that you don't want no more. Just money here, money there. Spend it, spend it, spend it.
So that's absolutely several people that I talked to who's been intimate with this county for the last few years. Number one, when the bookkeeping thing came up, there were no controls. That was a huge red flag. We're like, wait a minute. Then we had lawsuit after lawsuit, and I could mention a lot of money in lawsuits. But here's the other little oyster in it. It's
it's the wood chipper?
I don't even want to go there now. So
we got a new wood chipper, boy.
We got a dump trailer too, go along.
And we
with
got somebody to run it too. And we'll put poor Casey Christensen out of business. It's ridiculous.
So it's beyond the leadership is pitiful. So
it is pitiful. Did you hear that, folks? We're talking about our leadership here. They had the money to potentially take care of business, and all they want to do is waste it.
Well, here's the real humdinger.
Why in the hell do we need a smart meter?
So we got all these brilliant people. Let's do this low-income housing here in the towns.
How many people were? Yeah, let's get a bunch of low-income housing.
Wait a minute. Let's get this grant money for all these income. Get her done here. Can't manage the people that are heavily invested in Westcliffe and Silvercliff and protect their investment. Because there's a lot. If you think about it, every 4 houses, if there were $250,000, is $1 million. Every 4 houses at $250,000 is $1 million. For this trout pond not to have been addressed properly, and like I said, I've been here, and I think I got introduced to it in probably 2001, somewhere in there. Because we built a few houses and we were like, this is not good. This thing could waffle pretty fast. Long story short, all of the monies, all of the COVID money, and there's a list of it, and I really don't want to twist and break you guys because it's very embarrassing.
Well, it is embarrassing.
Knowing very well that the 2 towns were at risk here of being shut down, and that's what one of the commissioners said. What do you think we're going to do, shut the towns down? I said, hey, listen, don't bring that stuff out here and kill my cows. Don't destroy these hay fields. My cows ain't dying right now like they are in Maine, in Michigan, and in Texas.
And so one of the reports was talking about a stillbirth, and they tested this calf.
Oh my, yeah.
610,000 parts per trillion. I mean, it's almost nothing. It's a lot, right? 610,000. So let me
well,
see.
in the scale of time, buddy boy.
Yeah, let me see what that is.
That's monumental.
It ain't shit.
No, but compared to the four
610,000 divided by 60 is 10,000 minutes. Divided by 60 again is 169 hours. So you're talking 169 hours on 39,000 years. That's the concentration that this animal, I mean, it didn't even come out alive. It's dead. Done. Toast.
I was watching some of those ranchers taking care of their cows, just trying to keep them from suffering. And the ranch had been in the family for 150 years. And the EPA, and they even had people coming around from the sewage district, water sewage district. Like we have the district here. Round Mountain is the water sewage district. They had people knocking on the rancher's door, guilting them into, you have a civic duty. We have fertilizer for you. We need to get it out of there so we can continue serving the people and serving the towns. They guilted these people into it. And the EPA never said one word. So you can test it, You can run around it. You could do whatever you want. It ain't going here. Guarantee you it ain't going here. Because the public trust has been breached to the point where there's not a snowball chance in hell, whoever is paying for it, the test, they're going to have the test come back however they want. Go dip that over in the corner. Well, go dip it in the corner over there. Don't dip it down in there.
And so let's talk about that too. I mean, this is
bunch of crap.
This is one of our first initial conversations when we first started talking about this. I'm pretty familiar with testing. I mean, I've tested a lot of the products that we manufacture in the industry I'm in, and a lot of that stuff is parts per million, and some of it's parts per billion.
Yep.
And they tell you right on the test, well, it's plus or minus 20%.
Yep.
So you're trying to tell me that you're going to test for 4 trillionths.
Jesus.
You're talking, you're going to look for 4 grains of sand in 50 semi-loads and be accurate? I'm going to have to throw the bullshit flag on that one. I mean, I've watched that time and time again. You can take the same material and send it in 3 different tests, and they're never the same. You can send it to different laboratories. You can send it to the same laboratory. It just never comes up the same. The fact of the matter is, folks, is this stuff is as lethal as it is, right? I mean, it goes to your endocrine system, right? I mean, it's so lethal. It's so lethal. You're talking about 169 minutes and 39,000 years. It killed this calf. Or 169 hours, excuse me.
Right. So the toxicity of it, and here again, I hope you folks have been able to wrap your head around it, just kind of get a little bit of grip of, and like I said, Jeremy pulled up an article and it was quadrillion. So that's even more dumbfounding.
Well, and that's what makes me wonder is what I know about the testing facilities. I don't think that they have the capabilities to reliably even test that low.
Man, I don't know how you could. I mean, the gravity. I mean, those things are.
Oh, they're coming for you. No, that was just a joke.
I hope so. Because I've been a little bit violent in my speech toward some of these commissioners, and I think they've recognized how serious this matter is, and I don't believe they knew it or they were doing a really good job of deflecting. And if they have made some kind of arrangement where this is okay, they said something about some experiment already on 40 acres, and I'm like, how come this wasn't transparent?
Well,
this is the thing I want to allude to too. That little meeting at the pizza place with Liberty Rocks about the transparency of these elected officials.
Oh, there is none.
I'm going to tell you right now that was a con job. All that was they're blowing smoke up behind you there.
We have pre-orchestrated questions that nobody else can answer or ask any questions but these. I mean, that ain't transparency, folks.
No, and then also to suppress any kind of debate before the election. These are red flags, and these are telltale signs. That's why the public trust in any kind of political format anymore has really got to be.
Yeah, anybody that thinks they can trust the government, you're behind the times. You're basically you're out of your mind if you're trusting what these government officials are saying.
So that's definitely a call to get involved, and that's what we've been talking about. This is a revolution of saying we the people. The Constitution starts off we the people, then start off we the government to form a more perfect. No, it's we the folks, we the people, and when we elect people, either they're ignorant or they already have an agenda in their heart. We don't know what's in their heart unless we can get a good debate going.
But we do. We know what's in their heart because they've been.
It starts showing, doesn't it?
Yeah, they've been manipulating us so hard. Oh, hell, it's fine. Just dump it out there. They know good and well what's in there.
Who killed Kenny? I'm just saying, there's a really nice Hereford ranch out there. And that's kind of somewhat, the folks down in Texas, their last name was Coleman as well. But this borders Kenny's place. And Kenny's a really laid back, easygoing feller. You know what I mean? And
Well, and that's the thing. Is
if something
nobody knows about this stuff, folks. That's why we're trying to do our best here. That's what this week is about, to explain how lethal this stuff is, because nobody understands what it is. If they did, we wouldn't put up with it, right? Are you condemning your 50 generations of people? That's where we're at with this.
you got you
Or more. I mean, unless science intervenes, I mean, some of this stuff will never break down.
So, and I've got good hope. I think we can get it done. I think we can redeem it. But it's so far spent. There's so much water over the dam. It's when you say 20 million acres contaminated with sewage sludge, do you think somebody that makes their living in agriculture is going to pollute their land intentionally?
And so that's where the part of this whole conflict happens, right? Is so man has been using, they call it human manure, like cattle manure, right? You're talking about human manure, right? I mean, it's part of the ecosystem. It's part of life.
It should be a full circle.
It's a recycling of this stuff.
Exactly.
But the problem is, I mean, it's great. It's got all kinds of nitrogen, and it's really good fertilizer. That's undebatable. It's great stuff.
Looks good on the surface.
The problem is it has the contamination. That's the thing. I mean, is it great fertilizer? It is. It's spectacular fertilizer, but it's all this stuff that nobody knows about that's in it. That's the underlying problem here. You're talking about 4 seconds and 39,000 years of worth of contamination here, folks.
Here, Eve, here's this apple.
I mean, it's... so I don't know. I mean, nothing against these guys at the Sentinel. I respect Fred and George a lot.
No, but and here again.
But I do... Dave says, well, if we can't do this, we'll probably have to come out of compliance with the Colorado Department of Health. And I'm like, here's another question for me that will come up on the podcast next week is, well, what is the penalty? Like, what's the state going to do? I mean, do they really think they're going to come in here and stop us from flushing our toilets? Or, I mean, how does that work? They're just going to fine us into oblivion? Or, I mean, like, let's get to reality. It's kind of like the justice there. Oh, it's mandated. We got to have it.
Oh, boy.
Bullshit.
Oh, man.
All y'all are doing is blowing hot air up our skirts, right? So it's like, let's get to the basics, the basis of what this deal really is. I mean, did all we need to do was haul it to the dump? It's what everybody else is doing. I mean, it's not good, but the dump is already infected as it is. There's a bazillion different kind of PFAS in the dump already, which is I mean, we already spent $300,000, gave it to Denali, and now they're trying to blow hot air up our skirt, saying, "Oh, this is fine to put out on your ground." The gentleman, so I hear, the gentleman that owns the ground, now everybody has made some noise, he's saying, well, they weren't square with me. They didn't tell me all this stuff was in here. Of course they didn't, man.
So I do want to iterate. I do want to give the big picture too here. You got to understand that the Johnson Ranch is where the town's water coming from. Johnson Ranch had water rights, topside water rights. They had irrigation rights. They did is they transferred that topside water rights into the well, into underground water. They dried the top side of the ranch up. There's no water on this ranch. You couldn't grow nothing on that ranch.
Well, then, so let's get into the basics.
I just wanted to open that up for you.
Yeah, so they call that augmentation, right? This is how water works in Colorado, and so anybody that's worried about them selling off the water or whatever, that's what happened at the Johnson, right? The town,
George.
They bought the ranch, dried it up. They no longer can irrigate this ground. What they've done was the water that they were allowed to, by right, first in time, first in right, dried all that up. They're able to pump them gallonages out of the well right outside of town here. So that's how that whole thing works. It's called an augmentation plan, and that's how Upper Ark works, right? They buy these surface rights, and then that's how you're allowed to pump water, because you buy that water from them, from that surface right, gallons per minute, acre feet, all of them calculations. You buy that water, and then they allow you to pump that out of your well.
Yeah, and it may be a half acre foot. You know, it might be, I forget what's 40. Anyways, whatever then they meter that.
They meter that.
Then if you drill
It's
a well,
really particular, right? I mean, that they have a metering device at the Johnson, right? It's a digital gauge where they're recording the flow through a parcel flume and recording that flow and then dumping that water back in the creek. So they're getting credit on that meter for the gallons that they can produce because they've dried that ground up.
but it's year after year, right?
Yeah, it's year after year.
And it's different every year.
Well, it all really depends on, like, if the creek don't run, then theoretically you don't get no water to pump.
Okay.
That's why
I wanted you to say that.
That's why senior rights are worth more. I mean, you can buy a junior right on paper that never runs, and I mean, it's basically worthless.
Yeah, unless it's a real wet year, probably.
Right. I mean, so maybe you get it 1 out of 10. Well, that's not going to work. What are you going to do the other 9 years?
Yeah, you're done.
Yeah.
So here again, this is a very important part of all of this. The Johnson Ranch is the land that this stuff is to be hauled to, right?
It is. And so Round Mountain no longer owns it. They sold it to this gentleman, Joseph, and I don't know how to pronounce his last name. It would be my best guess. I'm not trying to be disrespectful.
I'm gonna say it's the same. I'm gonna say it the same way.
But from my understanding is that he is already in that business, and I've understood that maybe they've already hauled some chicken manure and stuff out on this ground, which, you know, once again, folks, that's part of the cycle, right? I mean, manure is used as fertilizer. That's just the fact of the matter. The problem with the biosolid, right? Chickens don't have everybody knows. I mean, just think about how many times have you found something that you really don't like and you think, oh, just flush that down the toilet, right? I mean, it happens time and time again. I mean, when you pump people's septic systems, I mean, it's...
So that's just a smaller microcosm of what we amplified here.
Yeah, and so, I mean, imagine what everybody in town is
so you got
cigarette butts, plastic.
You got you got 4 to 6 people in a house on a septic. Maybe you got 2 people. My wife and I are on a pretty big septic. Never had it pumped. 20 years, never had it pumped. It's pretty cool. Oversized it, big time. Don't want to jack with the dookie. I'm a plumber. That's the last thing on my list is jack with my own poop. So at the end of the day, if you magnify that to 1,700 people, 1,600 people thereabout, every day, that's what's being...
For the last how many years?
So here again, and that's one of the things that one of the commissioners made real clear to me. We only got to do this one time, Jimmy. We just got to get that sludge out of there one time, and then after this, it's all going to be treated.
Well, and then that's another question that I have for Dave next week is, see, I don't think it works that way. Like, once you treat it so that it's not active to the point where you can get listeria and all of this other stuff out of it, it's still loaded with forever chemicals. So when you're treating it, you ain't treating it for what we're talking about.
No.
So back to the point that I'd missed, but I want to come around to,
Yes,
is that Round Mountain just thinks that they're nuts in a sling right now, because if they dump that out there and they pollute the well here, how much money is it going to take to clean up the water so that they can sell it to the people of Westcliffe? That's an unknown that I'm highly suspicious that Mr. Dave Snyder has no idea of anything about that.
So I'm a full circle person. Being a Puritan, everything has to complement. It's got to be a full circle like the Indians. This is a very incomplete circle. Matter of fact, it's a very hazardous circle. Here you're going to take the end result, and then you're going to put it above the clean water.
Well, yeah, you're talking about dumping this stuff above where you pump the water for the town.
Maddening.
Like, hello?
Maddening.
Hello?
Absolutely maddening.
Hello? Is anybody home?
So I did get to talk to the mayor of Silvercliff, not to get us off track, but Steve, go ahead and elaborate on that monetarily wise. So they're gonna spend $300,000 as opposed to $2 million to haul it away.
Well, and so that's
so it's a 17. What is that? A $1.7 million difference. Okay. So they're gonna. All I'm gonna say is there's they could spend the $2 million, or how much do you think they're gonna spend when they can contaminate
and
14,000 acres of prime hay?
That doesn't account for the lawsuits that are fixing to happen with a few of the landowners that have exceptionally large pocketbooks and extreme knowledge in the court systems. Y'all dump that out there, your ass is grass.
You're heading to the
and that's what we were talking about. I can't remember who the heck I was talking about it. Maybe it was with Mr. Matt Miles. We were talking about now, like in other countries, when you make a mistake, you go to jail. Well, around here in America, well, you just get these huge fines, and then, well, I just filed bankruptcy, so then it doesn't matter, right? I'm like off the hook because it's just a monetary thing. Like, where is the justice and where's the repercussion? The consequences of your actions. And so, how are these guys supposed to spend? You just think that $2 million is a shot. I mean, that's another question for Dave that I want to know. How much do them smart meters cost? And I don't know. I've heard that there's 4 guys that work for Round Mountain. You got 4 guys for 1,600 people. You got 1 guy for 400 people to keep the water going. And so I don't know. Right, I'm not claiming to know, but it seems really absurd to me that they would spend the money to put these smart meters in when they don't even have the shit literally figured out.
Well, and here again, low-income housing, $1 million for some pavilion in Silvercliff. You've got all the lawsuits that were developed. We had enough money to fix this thing.
$250,000 sidewalk. $100,000 to engineer a sidewalk.
We've had enough money. And for whatever reason, I don't know why this just didn't hit the 3-alarm fire.
Well,
why it's not a 4-alarm fire?
Because they're too
The last 25 years that I've known of it, I just assumed that the leadership through the mayors...
Well, and we knew that we were in hot water because they had this huge mandate or ordinance or whatever the hell you want to call it, where you couldn't get a water tap. We ain't been able to get new water taps for years. For years, they have been shut down. And instead of trying to save some of that money back to try to take care of the problem, we're going to spend it on smart meters. Boy, that makes no sense to me. And not to mention... I mean, that's just Round Mountain itself. That doesn't have anything to do with the county's expenditures. We're just talking about Round Mountain as a business. You sell water. What do you mean you don't have no money? A water tap costs $35,000, folks. And you don't have no money? What are you doing with it? Throwing it down the toilet! For Christ's sakes!
Blowing it. Just
Jesus!
Putting it right down the shitter.
$35,000 for a new water tap, but you can't afford to take care of the sludge? And I mean, like I said,
properly.
Everybody else takes it to the landfill.
Well, I don't.
But Denali Water Solutions say, no, we'll take $300,000 from you and we'll spread it out here on the fields.
Steve, we've got retirement in all this. We got to take care of the people that work for us, and
I mean, I'm
here again. Money is the polluter. The love of money is going to cause the wrong. They're going to do something wrong because they're going to try to save the money. They're going to try to compromise. It's profit over principle. And we're to the point where we're principle here. Do not come up here and put that stuff out here. Just don't even try it.
No, if you try it, like you just
don't even try it.
You just think that $2 million is bad. You will be sued to oblivion.
10 times over. These guys dance in federal court.
These boys. I mean, they got the EPA. They got the Army Corps of Engineers. They got the Public Health Department. They got the Department of Ag. They got all these boys right ready to jump and pounce. If you guys don't void this contract, your ass is grass.
I don't care, Bill. One of the commissioners almost slipped up and said his name there.
You did. Bill. I mean, come on, Bill.
Jim, what do you think we're going to do? You think we're going to shut the towns down?
You haven't been up forth and forthcoming, Bill Kanda. You've been punking us like we're little.
Man, was he mad that, the planning and zoning gal had let the cat out the bag.
Yeah, he's over here.
What are you talking about? And they just had that meeting down there about transparency. Liberty Rocks at the pizza place. Oh, it's all about transparency. Look at our commissioners. Look how transparent they are. Ann and
Lisa.
Yeah.
You guys are a joke. And your time is coming. You can't use us like that for very much longer. We got your number.
So
I mean, heads up to all you commissioners. You keep this up, man, your ass is recalled.
I don't even know it's going to be a recall at this point. The hammer that's coming now,
you might end up in handcuffs, as you should.
Yeah. So here again, that little Colorado revised stat that says, looky here, removal for malfeasance. If this hasn't really spurred the malfeasance on and graduated to the point, they have a duty of care. They're trustees. They're in a fiduciary position. They have to put their life before. I mean, they have to give their life for us. They have to give their life for us. And when you get political gain,
so when they're over here saying, "Well, it's none of their business," that they don't need to know.
God,
like really, that's what you really think of us, is that we don't have a right to know about how our money is spent and about how our business is taken care of.
And you men know. I talk to you.
You work for us. We elected you. You represent us.
She's coming home to roost, boys.
All
God ain't never mocked.
All that being said, I got something else that I want to end the podcast with this evening. I mean, just 39,000 years in 4 seconds, folks. That's the new level that your drinking water is going to be in the next coming up. And that article, Dallas, Fort Worth, Houston. I mean, there's a laundry list of municipalities in Texas that are out of compliance, and how in the hell are they going to get back in compliance is beyond me. I mean, you're talking about astronomical money. What I was looking on that one machine, they can clean about a tote per day, about 250 gallon per day. I mean, they can clean it.
That's all can gnat on an elephant's
They
ass.
can get it out of there, but it's such a small scale. I mean,
and it's cost prohibitive.
And so you're worried about the little bit of money that you're going to have to spend to get rid of this sludge. And I mean, there's a lot of loops and hoops to tie together here. One more of the thing is I want to know if they do haul it out once in this electrochemical thing, doesn't the sludge build up again?
Well, it does.
It has to, right?
So they're the song and dance is they're breaking the molecule. And it's a bullshit story. Here again, the public trust has been completely obliterated. We've got, we're doing, Jimmy. Oh no, we're doing a test. I'm like, wait a minute. We got 20 million acres already done.
Yeah,
this.
what you're doing
We
is
already done it now, dum-dum.
You're testing for heavy metals and all of that stuff, which is part of what they test for. But that's way beyond. I mean, that's not even the starting gate of what we're talking about with these forever chemicals. You're talking about dumping this stuff above the town water supply, and you just think that your ass is in a sling, money-wise. If you contaminate these wells, then what are you going to do? You'll never be able to afford it.
And Stephen, I'm gonna bring this up too. Our 3 commissioners are the Board of Health up here.
They are the Board of Health. And they try to say, well, that ain't none of our business. We don't have, that's out of our jurisdiction.
I've never seen 3 more spineless people in my life. All of you. The 3 people I've been begging to do something, to stand up and make a stand. And you can't do nothing. Oh, I'm down here. I got to take care of this. I'm doing this. I got to do this. I'm doing this. I'm doing this. You know what? You need to do your job. You need to be a man. If you can't take the oath and understand what the oath is about, if you don't understand what a duty is, a duty of care, because if something happens to Kenny or Matt or anybody, that's a company ditch, Stephen, right there. The company ditch comes right off Grape Creek.
Yeah, and it goes.
You know how many thousands of acres?
Clear down here to Hermit Road.
Yeah.
It irrigates all that ground.
Every bit. There's thousands of heartland right here. Don't even think about it. How you could even entertain for 1 second to allow this stuff to come on and to be positioned into that concentrated. I can't, my mind can't even wrap around how they didn't do a resolution or do an injunction or do something. If that hits, I'm just telling you, you guys just don't do it. That's all I'm going to say. Because if it's not a financial hernia, because it won't be 2 million, it'll be, let's go into getting the trillions.
Yeah, you'll never be able to recover if you
Let's go ahead and mortgage the complete county to these lawyers. Because there won't be anybody that owns anything. The lawyers will own us all. They will own everything here. They will own it all. And these people have a fiduciary duty to protect us. And for them to put us...
And so here's the thing, too, is we're talking about people's lives. So what, you're going to dump this sewage out here so you can save save $1 million and kill people?
Steve, you got $1 million investment tied to that sewer.
I do. This is $1 million outfit right here.
You got $1 million outfit right here. One of the commissioners owns 2 businesses in town and a house. He's got 3 legs in this thing. Is he compromised? Has he been going along with this? Has he said, it's okay to go ahead and spread our irresponsibility to the rest of the county and destroy the agricultural? And we're doing the beef thing. Oh, everybody that's growing produce and has beef. How's that going to work for your tourism, numbnuts? You people ain't got enough brains to pour piss out of your boot before you put it on. Idiots. Complete idiots. Oh, we got the best beef around. No, you don't. None if you do that, you idiot. Oh, $100,000 in tourism to get the beef people, to sell beef up here. More poppycock bullshit. This madness is going to stop.
Yeah, y'all better put the brakes on right quick. So, all that being said, we got another little thing that I wanted to talk about, and it has to do with Robert Kennedy Jr.
Yep.
Up at the top, right? Working against these huge giants, the EPA and all of these guys. But I seen an article the other night where he revoked, and this is like a little bit hard to explain, and it's also like really hard to believe. So GRAS, right? So GRAS, it's GRAS. It stands for Generally Recognized as Safe. So GRAS, especially in other countries, and this is the way that it used to be a long time ago around here in the United States, was to put something in the food supply had to be GRAS certified, right? It had to be
safe,
examined for consumptive use. It had to be safe, right? Generally recognized as safe. Well, what they did was that when all these euthanogenists come in and want to try to poison us to the very bitter end, which they've been doing a pretty good job of, what they've done is that they've taken away the grass from what they did was they gave the people that are manufacturing the food, they've given them the right to classify these chemicals as grass on their own.
Yep.
So if you're making chicken and you pump it full of all of this other stuff, and you can just say, oh, it's safe. Like, it doesn't have to be tested. But what Robert Kennedy did was that he took that piece of legislation and took that away. So now the food suppliers, right, at least have to start to submit these.
They're naked. They don't have that insulation anymore. They're not protected by the law they wrote to protect themselves to exploit the people that were consuming from them.
Totally.
They took their shield away. They're like, no.
And so
Consequences.
Here's another one that I want to kind of close with that really astounded me the other night. So it's aspartame, right?
Oh boy.
Do you know what aspartame is, right? That's that artificial sweetener. So aspartame is made from the feces of E. coli bacteria. So what they did, however many years ago that was, so in these petroleum industry, the crude oil has these heavier solids that gum up everything. It gums up the tanks, it gums up the pipes, it gums up this stuff to the point where they can't use it anymore. So they found this bacteria that would eat this stuff. And they thought to themselves, well, what the heck are we going to do with this bacteria? I mean, like...
Now we got a byproduct.
Yeah, what are we going to do with the byproduct of
Now
this?
we got some we got to discard.
Well, that's aspartame. So when you're eating aspartame, when you're drinking your Diet Coke, you are eating E. coli feces that is eaten off of petroleum oil. That's what aspartame is.
So there's a lot of knowledge that we're going to have to acquire. We're going to have to educate ourselves in a pretty quick fashion. And if you want to know about forever chemicals and the sludge that's contaminated,
all you got to do, I mean, we're going to put that on the website, but all you got to do is Google it. Google forever chemicals and start reading on it.
So if you go to YouTube and you punch in forever chemicals on farmlands, Maine and Michigan, you were focusing a little bit on Texas. I focused on Texas quite a bit.
They say the most of
several months ago.
The most of it spread in California and Florida. And that's why one of these guys that are trying to stick up for it, they say, well, California says it's fine. I mean, if it says it, you can't even hardly sneeze in California. Well, it's all about how corrupt is it, right? So, yeah, they might give you the go-ahead, but they're not telling you about the PFAS material that's in there.
So, and here again, they can manipulate those tests to kind of pass. Here again, the EPA should have shut this down. They should have said,
they're just now,
absolutely.
They just now finally are getting to the point where they're starting to do something about it.
Stacks and stacks of lawsuit, north to south, east to west. This everywhere there's a consolidated city, and they've got to do water treatment, and they've got this accumulation of toxic sludge. They have to be able to get rid of it, and they need to do it financially where it doesn't hurt them. But it's toxic sludge. You don't pour it out here on a hayfield, Nimrod. I hope Dave shows up, because Dave's probably going to go. Well, Dave's going to go, hey, Steve and Jimmy, I kind of watched how you guys rolled there. So we didn't really want to chase him off.
No, it has nothing to do with that. What we're trying to do is educate us, because we're hoping that he doesn't realize what's going on here, and that once he does, that he'll say, boy, we don't have any choice but to try to figure out some way. I mean, like, you guys, it's your own bed that you made. You wasted the money you had.
Yeah, and that's where I really wanted to show the malfeasance. You guys can't be that stupid. Maybe you are.
Well, then that's, I mean.
And then here again.
When you're talking about the commissioners.
Here you got that, who's that, is it Peterson? What's her name?
Brittany.
Brittany Peterson Day in Silvercliff. Thanks, Buck. And, we had a conversation today, and I'm not going to disrespect you. Because I do want to have some kind of rapport. I don't want to melt down everybody around me because
because I mean, disrespecting someone is not going to
it's not going to solve the problem.
No.
But if intentional ignorance is the play of the day. Here again, they got like $1.2 million.
Money is the only play here.
What $1.2 million what was that for? Some pavilion?
Oh, because Silver Cliff's jealous because they don't have a main street.
So here, wait a minute, it gets better. Then we give the lots away. Custer County gives the lots away for low income housing. Plus, they throw in another couple $100,000 on top of that. We can't handle the shit we got now. And we're going to get more shit.
Well, yeah, and you're talking about
how crazy are you guys?
And the water tap's $35,000, but what? You're just going to disregard that because it's low income housing? Oh, they get a free pass, and all the rest of us have to pay more?
Come on, folks, you're going to have to get some strong leadership. You have to draw a line in the sand. You got to get online and grow a spine. That's what old Kennedy from Louisiana said. Get online and get a spine, boys. You better get a spine because we the people aren't going to stand for this nonsense.
What you're talking about, remember how we started this conversation, it's how many generations does it take, folks? I mean, these chemicals do not ever break down. They will be dealing with this stuff for potentially thousands and tens of thousands of years at this point. Because I mean,
already.
What about the stuff that's in the landfill that you have to try to dig up? Even if you come up with a really good way to remediate this stuff, what about all the stuff that's buried? And I mean, we have dirtied our nest beyond belief. I mean, we're in an epic problem here, and all we're really trying to do is to try to keep it from happening right in our back door. I mean, we're already toxic. We already got forever chemicals all up and down in us, but we don't want so much of it that we're going to die.
Well, I don't need my
just so you can save $1 million. Round Mountain that you already wasted it. Because we got smart meters, so a snowbird, well, in case his water ruptures, we got to watch out. We got to watch out for other people because they can't take care of themselves. So I got to pay for that shit?
So here again, it comes down to who owns the land that it's going to be disposed upon. Are they going to agree to it? Will Round Mountain go ahead and step up and say, we've got a financial crisis here. We've got 1,700 people that we service in our district.
So
we've been irresponsible for the last 30 years that I know of. No, it's just 2025.
And so here's the thing, too, that I don't understand completely and totally, but so when you have a municipality, of course, we know that the county got shut off at the bank because they can't even pay their stupid little shit-ass credit cards because they're so freaking stupid.
Well, that was the other thing I mentioned.
But so guys. why in my mind I'm like if we only got to haul the sludge off once, and then and we got the grants, we already got whatever $3.5-4 million worth of grants rounded up to put in the new system. Why wouldn't a bank be willing to loan a municipality that has guaranteed revenue the money to take care of this? It doesn't make any sense to me. And so that's why I think that y'all are just bullshitting us, just like you're trying to bullshit us with the Justice Center and say, well, if we don't get this done, we'll have to be out of compliance with the state. Bullshit. Don't lie to us. You know that there's more options. Hell, putting it at the dump is way better than dumping it on the valley floor. That's what everybody else is doing. More than likely, if you haul it down the hill, that's what they're going to do, is take it to a landfill. So instead of worrying about the $2 million, why don't you just get the county trucks and haul the shit to the dump, literally?
So I don't know exactly all the particulars, and I'm hoping David gets here and straightens it out. David, we know each other. I've known you, I don't know how long time. Not real intimate, but we know. I think I've worked on your house and helped do the plumbing and whatnot, but we need honesty and sincerity at this point in time. We do not need anything that's going to not be honest and sincere and proof in the pudding. Here again, misfeasance, malfeasance, nonfeasance, there's reasons for those words.
Yeah, and Round Mountain, right? Round Mountain is a private entity. It's not a government entity.
It's a quasi-government kind of deal. A little bit is. It's a quasi, however that definition.
It's not regulated by the county, though. The county supposedly doesn't have anything to do with it, according to the commissioners. But
It's a standalone.
But
It's a district.
But they actually do have all full qualifications because they're the Board of Health.
Absolutely. Here again, they did that resolution. What was that resolution about the credit card? Do you remember that? What was that deal?
Yeah, so in 2017, they said if you spend money on a company credit card and you don't have the receipt...
County credit card.
Yeah, company, county, whatever.
Here's a county credit card.
You spend the money and you don't have a receipt, then you're personally liable for that.
And you got 5 days.
And so, that's like the way the rest of the whole world works, right? I mean, if you work for someone and they say, hey, run down below and get some stuff for the company, here's the card, right? If you need, get some gas, do whatever, bring me back the receipts. That's the way the world works, folks.
I terminated my relationship with my nephew. Here's the money. Here's the items that you're going to buy. You're going down the hill. You come back. You show me the receipt and the money, and you show me what you got. Completely blew the money. Didn't come back with what he's supposed to. Terminated. My nephew. Living with me, and I'm trying to help him out. And I said, well, bud, you got to go. See you later, bye. Oh, you need gas money? Okay, here's your gas money. Phew! Giddy up.
Don't never come back.
Absolutely do never, ever, ever, ever. We have a pattern of behavior up here in the political realm, and why the liberals are not tearing these Republicans.
Oh, so here's why the liberals aren't tearing it up, and this is something that come out with Elon Musk. Just found this out. I mean, I know we're running on time here, but hopefully everybody's still entertained and listening, right? So they said they found 14 magic computers that'll just print these checks out at will. No invoice, no nothing, right? It'll just print this stuff out. But I can't remember exactly what it is, but it's something about monetary theory. And the liberals think, well, we don't have to be accountable.
It's only money.
We don't have to be accountable because the interest that we have to pay, the government can just pay. They can just print the money to pay that.
Yeah. I've heard it from the goofballs up here. Jimmy, it's only money, man. It's only money. No, it's not. It is a way that you measure.
It's a resource, and it's
a way you measure goods and services.
It's a resource, so you can't squander it. Yeah, you can't squander it, or you won't have any more.
And people don't realize that they've completely made money their god. You just print more. It's just money, Jimmy.
Yeah, there's no fiduciarily responsibility.
There is absolutely no accounting, and that was one of the biggest things. The team of people that I was with up here, combating the disarray of the finance. You were part of that group. It's completely unacceptable on the road that we've gone down, and now we've got to. There's no way, Jimmy, we could hire another auditor. We have to keep this auditor. I'm going, why is that? Jimmy, we have to keep the auditor. I said, why?
We can't hire a financial person. We're going to hire somebody that was the IT guy that couldn't run none of the computer system the whole time, but we'll make him the financial guy. Like, boy, if that isn't some backwoods shit, I don't.
If these guys don't come clean, if you three amigos don't come clean, and Kevin, you ought to come clean too, old Kevin Day and Flower and Prince, you guys really need to come clean. You guys, confession's good for the soul, and you'll see that on the minutes, a couple different tapes, and I've asked them to do it during the meeting. I said, you guys got to come clean, the transparency, and that's why Ann, Liberty Rocks Ann here, that was an insult. All I saw was damage control saying that our elected officials are transparent. That's crap. The other thing I do want to mention, Paul Winkie, I didn't call you. You're the mayor of Westcliffe. Where are you at in this? You represent 700 people who have a vested interest in this water district here. And Buck, we had a conversation, and it was grievous to me. I know it grieved me, saying, Buck, I called you because I thought you were going to have answers. And I was even going to ask you on the podcast if you could set some stuff straight. You represent the people that are getting ready to get shut down, perhaps, according to Bill Kanda. What do you think, we're going to shut the towns down, Jimmy? Well, you're not gonna kill Kenny. I won't let you kill Kenny, buddy. You're not dumping that out there, buddy boy.
You guys will get sued into oblivion if you try it.
There may be worse than suing, because now you're that's worse than a mass shooting. You're putting toxic chemicals out there, killing people. You got to get shut down.
4 seconds in 39,000 years, folks. That's the new legal limit for your drinking water supply.
It's not even something you can entertain for a half a second if you got any kind of practical reasoning through common logic at all. If you got any ability to think at all. How did these people with 20 million acres allow this stuff to get on their land? Because they're nice, beautiful people and they trusted the government. I ain't trusting you. My public trust went out the window miles back, just with the finance. You think you're going to pull this on us? Don't try it. Don't even try it. Get that thought out of your little pea brain. Don't even try it. That's all I'm going to say. Because the financial repercussions won't be 2 million. Won't be 200 million.
No, I mean, because at some point, right, I mean, like...
It'll be in the trillions.
When you talk about... We're talking about people's lives here.
Yeah.
Folks. This is not just money. You're talking about murder, right? I mean, that stuff... What did I say? 169 hours out of 300?
Oh, on that calf?
39,000 years? That's the toxicity level that just killed this thing? So all that being said, folks, we're not here to beat you. We're not here to rail you. We brought the facts to you. I mean, it's time to get serious about this stuff because it's that serious. So with that being said, we wish you all a blessed evening and a great evening, and we'll talk to you next week with our
with Dave.
With
Dave Snyder.
Yep, Dave Snyder.
He's the director. So. He's the director of Round Mountain Water. He's the one that has these 2 interviews in the Sentinel. Those are interviews. Those are not conclusions from the 2 newspapermen. That was the questions and answers and explanations from Dave. That's what that is. So I'm going to leave that right there. George, I'll get that puppet next week. Appreciate you.
Thanks, folks. Good evening.
Thanks, Mikey.